In the fall of 2016, Dawn partnered with her alma mater, Queen's University of Charlotte, for Creative Crossroads, an artist in residence concert and lecture series about the Harlem Renaissance, expressed through music, poetry, dance, and visual art. Dawn performs in the Charlotte area and is the primary singer for the Charlotte Jazz Orchestra. Apart from performing, she is also a teaching artist at Studio 345 and with DNA Music, her own organization. She earned her degree in music from Queen's University of Charlotte, but still pursues her love for learning, performing, and teaching through cultural exchanges and musical collaborations. For upcoming events and performances, check out DNA Sings on Facebook.
I think for me, I was around a lot of music coming up as far as I was part of a singing family. But I think that moment for me was probably in elementary school when I was in fourth grade and doing a presentation for a school project. And I hadn't sung really in front of people. At home was one thing. And I did it before my class. And it was an interesting scenario where I was pretty much a wallflower at that time and was really ridiculed and laughed at when I approached because of my appearance. I was trying to dress like a star. It wasn't going over well. But when I had the opportunity that day to sing, when I began to sing, they started to laugh a little less as the song progressed, and I realized that music was going to play a powerful role in my life. And it was something that had been given naturally, but I had to, in time, learn more about it and develop the skill. The fourth grade. My inspirations are probably diverse when it comes to the types of music that I enjoy listening to. When it comes to show music, I would have to say Barbra Streisand. When it comes to jazz, I would definitely say Ella Fitzgerald, the great Nancy Wilson, and a male would probably be Al Jarreau. Jon Hendricks is one more. I think one of my greatest rewards is having the opportunity to do what I'm passionate about. A lot of people who have careers don't have the opportunity to do what they're passionate about. And I'm thrilled to have the opportunity, and it takes shape in different forms. So for me, musically, that could be in the area of teaching, in singing, and a great reward is just stretching myself to learn different forms. When I'm teaching, a reward for me is having someone discover his or her true voice, not how they emulate someone so well, but how true they can be to themselves and start to embrace their own sound. That's incredible. It makes me feel great because I knew what it felt like for me when someone did that for me, and I was able to grow and in my own sound, and it's an extraordinary feeling. But I know that it's only the beginning because I'm only turning on the light. They have to go find it once the light's on. And so that's really pretty cool. Biggest adversity, I think, at least in the Charlotte area, maybe in many arenas, if you are a musician, if you're an instrumental musician, sometimes there's a lot more work for the instrumental musician, where sometimes with singers, you're kind of an added feature. And so I think sometimes the adversity is feeling just as valid or legitimate as other players when you come to the forefront to do what you do, that they begin to feel that it's a team and not that you're just, a vitamin, a supplement for the group. And so sometimes it's a challenge. Of course, once you establish yourself and word gets around, it gets a little easier. But sometimes it's a little tough for singers. And finding instrumentalists who want to grow with you, and to find just the right people that can help further the sound along and to grow with you. And that evolves because everybody has their own path. And someone may get a gig somewhere else, and then you're not as available, or that person's not as available anymore. And so sometimes that's challenging. But yeah. I would say to study your craft well, to know yourself and your instrument so well that if you need to modify or adapt, that you're able to do that, that you're not second guessing yourself during the performance when it's time to share, because sometimes it can interfere with the message that you're trying to get across. If they say where I am, I'd say let's continue moving forward. So I don't think many musicians who are at whatever the level that they're on, they never feel like they are finished growing yet. So it's a continuous thing, because with each stage of your life, things change. For instance, if I work with a young boy, if they're singing, their voice is going to change. And getting used to a new normal, well, it's the same for an established singer or even a woman. Things in life that change, so your voice changes. And even experiences that you go through can affect your sound. Just like visual artists, they have a blue period or there are things that happen with us and maturity that comes with it. So mistakes that happen on stage, when you're younger, it's a little harder to get over it, but when you're older, it's like, you realize you're human. It's like, so yeah. It changed tremendously. It was like it was like singing in 2D or listening to music on an AM radio and then going to school and everything becoming surround sound and 3-dimensional, that I realized that there was more to music than I ever thought, that I stopped just looking at a vocal line or listening to a vocal line and started to think about what was happening around the vocal line. My technique changed tremendously. I had a wonderful teacher that I would say retrained my voice. She broke me down to build me back up, not in a harsh way, but she reformed how I sang. I came to her singing one way, R&B music, when I was in Atlanta, Georgia, as a young teenager. And then when you study music, typically you are introduced to European classical music. And she taught me how to sing it well. So how to starting with the breath and how to breathe well, and introducing me to languages to sing in. So I was putting things in my mouth that I wasn't used to with language, but I was able to use that skill to translate into other music forms. So when it came time to sing jazz, singing things in Spanish and singing some of the bossas, from Brazil, singing Portuguese, it was a nice fit because I wasn't afraid to sing it because of the phonetic background and being able to sing the long phrases because of the great breath support and technique. And so it wasn't just a raw talent anymore, it was trained. And I give homage, I pay homage to the classical background because it gave me the bones to do the other type of music that I like to do. So. I would say that I feel as though there's more to learn. I'm intrigued with the human voice. And so as I top out in the last 20 years of my singing life, you know, as far as feeling like I'm at my strength. So that means that puts me in the time of my 60s or 70s. I don't want to be one of the folks that you hear in the church choir. Woo, woo, woo. I don't want to be one of those. I want to know when it's time to sit down and go out gracefully. But because I'm so intrigued with the human voice, I'd love to pursue speech and language pathology because I just love everything about the human voice. So eventually I see myself transitioning. So where I am, I'm in a sweet spot where they call this is like the time of maturity, you know, like that's where it's strong. And so it's very womanly right now. So, and I'm not afraid to take chances, and that's a good space to be in. As a speech and language pathologist, I would love to open a program at Queen's University of Charlotte. Plug, plug. So, because there's also a music therapy program here at on your campus, and I think it would be a great opportunity to see both of the worlds, speech and language pathology. I think that they could coexist, and there is no Charlotte-based speech and language pathology program in Charlotte at all. UNC, Smith, Queen's University of Charlotte. I would love to do that in the next 5 years. I would love to be on the path to have that opportunity. People need to find their voice or restore their voice. You know, so, yeah.
Great job. Well, thank you for coming and interviewing me today. You are such a lovely muse to record.
Thank you. It's a joy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.